That's all right. Don't worry about it. That's all right. It could always be worse.
At least you're here.
That's right.
That's right. At least you're here. That's the main thing. All right, we'll get started here. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll call this meeting to order today. Welcome everybody here, and sorry we're late, but we had one board member, he couldn't get to bed. So, but that's all right. But welcome everybody here today. Our first item on the agenda would be the county administrative items. I'll turn that over to you, Mr. Tadlock.
Yes, sir. First item I have is the fiscal year 24 jail board budget amendment. You have the packet information in your board docs. It's an increase of $650,000, and the total budget, amended budget, would be $11,662,946. The Northern Neck Regional Jail Board did approve this at their last meeting, but it does require each locality to also approve that.
All right, any comments, questions from the board? I hope you all had a chance to read.
Who's the head
Go
person?
Michelle
Lewis.
Lewis.
Girl, look.
Mhm. Come on up one day, Jim.
I gotta get up.
Let you know next, leave a letter on myself, let you know next board meeting.
Yeah,
You come on up.
I used to go up there and register, voters who don't have a felony. Got about 10.
And that's the same for all of you. If any of y'all want to come up anytime, come right on.
Good idea.
All we need to do is call your name, right? We'll call your name. They won't throw bricks, right?
I'd lock you up.
Oh, Lord.
All right, any discussion, any questions on that budget? It's that budget that it's just the increased cost there that they have.
It's no increased cost to this county.
No increased cost.
There's no cost to the county.
No.
What was that, Jimmy?
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't no increased cost to us.
No, it's no cost to us. What's the pleasure of the board? Can I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
All right, got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All right, go ahead, Mr. Tadlock.
Next item I have is we held the public hearing for the amendment to the fiscal year 25 budget resolution. And this was regarding the personal property tax rate, 35% of the assessed ratio for the vehicles and 40% for the assessed rate valuation on all other personal property. We needed to wait the required 7-day time period. If we have waited the required time, and you have the amended resolution for your consideration in your packet.
All right, board members have comments, questions, Mr. Tadlock? Are you ready to give me a motion?
I move to approve the amendment.
Second it.
Got a motion and a second. Got any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All right,
Next item I have is related to the opioid abatement fund request. Chief Balderson is looking to purchase pouches to discard of medications. The two cases, which have 200 pouches per case, is $856 per case, and total cost would be $1,712. And I believe Mr. Basie has an example of the pouch.
Yeah, I have a sample pouch here, and basically how it works is you open the pouch up and you'll put your expired medicines in here, or any medicine you want to get rid of in here. Then you add water to it and wait 30 seconds, and then you seal it tightly, shake it, and then you can just toss it in your ordinary household trash. This particular size pouch can take up to 45 pills or 6 ounces of liquid to be deactivated per time. and Chief Balderson and I have been looking at these, and the intent for those is for those packets to be included in the harm reduction kits. The EMS services, emergency services, leaves at households when they do visits, especially if it's related to an overdose situation, and also to have available at farmers markets and other community events and for handouts for the community.
This can be funded through the opioid
And
funds.
yes, this will be
Okay.
paid for through opioid abatement monies.
Are we using something similar to that now?
No,
We don't have anything.
And do those pouches have a shelf life on them themselves?
I don't know the shelf life on them off the top of my head. I know some other, local agencies are using them and using them through opioid abatement money as well. That's where Chief Balderson got the information, was at a meeting, and he brought it back to me for consideration, to bring to y'all for consideration as well.
Can average household obtain those? Household?
The intent is for them to be available for distribution at farmers markets for anybody that wants one to come get them, or to be left behind as part of harm reduction kits.
So the average person just pick up one,
Correct.
dispose of the medication itself.
How are you getting that information out, Drew?
They will have them with them on the squad, on the units with their with the harm reduction kits, as well as they'll be doing them, having them available at the farmers markets and other community events. The EMS teams will be, providing the information and the packets to the community.
And how many are you purchasing?
We're looking to get 2 cases, and it's 200 per case, so a total of 400
400.
for the first go around, just to see where we are. And if we need
Yeah.
to order more as we move through, we'll be able to see how the response has been and be able to go forward from there.
Okay. All right, any other questions?
You know, a lot of these medications, if you throw them in your regular household trash, you'll wash them down the drain. It doesn't neutralize the medication. And this process will neutralize the medication. I think it's a good idea. See, try it and see how it does.
Good idea to try. Pass note to the homeowners here, and a lot of people, they have a lot of medication that they been switched around on them, it's just sitting there. So need to get rid of it. All right. I want a motion to approve.
We'll make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
All right, got a
Right.
motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Next item we have is school sewer update. This matter was previously bid out, and we brought that matter to the board, but due to the cost, the board had discussed having staff or the county and work with Rob Mangrum, the engineer, to serve as the general contractor. The items that are before you tonight are for the precast concrete structures and the equipment that would be needed for this project. And what we are asking for is permission to move forward in advertising that for bids and to receive that information back. The third part of that is going to be the actual construction or installation of that equipment. But to get to the third phase of that, we need to bid the first 2 items out.
All right. Questions, comments from the board? If not, can I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I got a motion to approve. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. One thing, how long before you think we'll have a bid?
It's required 10 days. But I doubt we wouldn't have anything by the next board meeting. So
30 days at least. Yeah.
we would be a little ways out before.
That's fine.
Depending on the timing, we'll check to see if we need to have a called meeting to
All right.
get that moving.
That's fine.
We are looking at using the ARPA funds for that. And we have to at least have the ARPA funds committed by the end of this calendar year.
Okay.
Next item I have is, there was some discussion regarding the sanitary district lab change order number 4. And the board had asked for some additional time to evaluate that, have time to go down and take a look at that. I don't know if you have any additional questions. I think there was a question too, as far as with now bringing on the cost of the generator, if the board was comfortable in moving forward with the $100,000.
Questions, comments from the board?
And
And I didn't mean cut you off.
no, I'm sorry. I think too, there's still some question as far as the WQIF funds. It's 40 some $1,000 that would be, that's still up for grabs regarding that. I think there's still some question as to whether that's been actually approved or not. So it would be a matter of the full $138,000 versus, if we do have that, WQIF funding, it would be less than the 100,000.
When will we know something about that funding?
That I'm not sure. Do you?
I know that it has been submitted to WQIF for their review and approval. I'm not sure how long that process will take from them. And I believe at the last meeting, Mr. Willard had asked for the board to consider if they would be willing to cover the additional costs should WQIF funding not be approved for it so he'd be able to move forward with the contractor while they're still there.
So if we don't get that funding, what does that mean?
If that is not approved, if we approve change order 4 and that funding is not approved, then the county would be paying the full 138,844. The board has previously approved for the county to pay up to 100,000 of it, half from CIP and half from the sanitary district fund. And Mr. Willard was looking to see if the board would be willing to cover the additional 38,844 should WQIF funding not come through, so he can move forward if that is the intent.
Other questions, comments?
Oh, my concern is we've not done very well in the past in keeping structures. And if we don't maintain the structure and it's $100,000 repair there, and we wait and you put it off and you 3 years, 4 years down the road, you're looking at a $300,000 repair or more. And I don't know, I don't like spending any more money than we have to, but I want to make sure we spend wisely. I mean, I look back at the old school in Lotsburg. If that had gotten a little more attention a little sooner, maybe that building still could be used today. Same for some of this old sheriff's office over here. We don't need any more buildings like that. In this building, these guys work out of this building every single day.
What are you saying? We should move forward?
I think we should move forward with it and
I was gonna make a motion,
um,
move forward.
I just don't want to spend more money later. And that's my concern.
My motion that we move forward.
Thank you. We got a motion. Do I have a second?
Does that motion include the funding that we may not receive? Is that for the full
You
138?
have to include the funding in
It's
it.
gonna have to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's,
Have to include it.
Right,
$138,844.
right.
Have to. Got a motion and a second. All right. You gotta look at that building. it hasn't had anything really done to it since it was put there.
Right.
What this is gonna make the interior of it a little bit better, a little more accommodating for the employees down there. So they do have a few features of comfort there. So, you know, I don't have a problem with spending anything into it there. I don't wanna spend 300,000-400,000, but you know, this is not gonna be that bad. And this will make it a whole lot better, bring that building up a little bit.
The building will be around for,
Gonna have to be
Few more
around for a
years,
long
yeah.
time. Yeah. Yeah, we need that for a whole lot more years yet. Right? Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Can everybody hear us tonight?
Yes.
All right, okay. All right, good now. I just wanted to make sure. Tadlock
All right.
anytime you want.
Next item I have, in your packet is just some information. We had to do some work to one of the Aon units for the new courts building here. There is still a concern of the amount of humidity and the age of the Aon units. So what we were looking for is, authorization to move forward in getting estimates to do a engineer plan, with the companies that the board has just brought on to look at the HVAC system for this building and come up with a plan, for the humidity, especially since we do have, vital records, in the clerk's office. At this point, it would just be getting an estimate for the board for your consideration, to move forward with that.
Those records in there, humidity is killing them.
Right.
They can't stand for so much. We don't want to lose those old records and all we got.
that's it, that's the old books, county record books.
All the record books and all. The humidity is a big problem. The Aon units have made a world of a difference, but still we're having humidity problems. So, and we got humidity problems throughout the building.
Yeah.
So if we look at trying to make some improvements to that and the records room, I think we'll be better off.
Yeah.
You know, equipment's getting older here anyhow. It's getting to that point, we're gonna have to start replacing a lot of
And
it.
we've had some trouble with Aon, the Aon
had-
systems
yeah.
too.
Aon units have been here,
They're starting to,
they've been what here? 12, 15.
every bit of that, I believe.
Yeah, not a little bit longer. And that life expectancy is probably past. And that would be a hunk of money to change him, but we need to kind of look over the whole building here and make sure we don't do it right this time. I don't want to have to go back and do this, get it put in, then have to go back and make changes again. That's not what I'm looking for. Any other discussion, comments? If not, can I have a motion for Mr. Tadlock to proceed?
I make a motion that we allow Mr. Tadlock to proceed.
All right, I got a motion.
I'll second it.
I have a second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. And this quote that's in your board docs, it's in there for your information. I want y'all to see what the quote was. You know, that piece of equipment has to be fixed, but I want y'all to see what it was.
You satisfied with that quote?
It looks much better than it's been looked
Since we had a talk with,
since we had that talk, yeah.
Yeah.
Much better.
Next item I have is the too good to throw away site at the Horsehead Trash Facility. There's a request to have that reopened. We did close that down during the COVID time period. There were some, at different times, matters of having that cleaned up. The group that was manning that, we had to give them a call several times to have that cleaned up. But, they are asking for that to be reopened and want to bring that to the board.
I've had a lot of people say they missed that. They enjoyed having that both for donating things and picking up things on both sides.
Well, it helps people
Yes,
that are in need to be able to go there and pick up a few things that they go.
I know there's a little bit of problem with cleaning up or whatever from time to time, but I think we can deal with that. The benefit that it does for the public, especially those that don't have a whole lot.
Yep.
I really think it's a good thing to try to keep going.
Yeah, I wanted everybody to hear it, everybody to make the decision on it. I don't want to be the one by myself making a decision.
Yeah, I think that's a good
It's,
thing.
it's up to the board. That's where I look
I
at it.
think real good. We should make sure it's open. A
right,
a
that's
lot
your
of people
motion?
need help, yeah.
All right, second,
Second it.
got a motion, second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, Mr. Tadlock, tell them that.
And
Open it back up.
if it becomes an issue as far as keeping it clean, we'll bring it back to the board.
Yes, yes.
Bring it back if it does. And the thing is, if people that drop stuff off will pay attention to what you can't put in there, instead of just dropping that there. That's usually, I think that's where the problem always been.
Yeah, and when I have talked to Mr. Sefel as far as the use of his equipment in the debris yard, if there's any items, if it's like a sofa or something that they drop off there and they need help lifting that into the, open top container, he is willing to use that equipment to, drop it in the container to help them clean that up. So. The next item I have is related to the county property report from the planning commission. Mr. McKenzie is planning on being here tonight. He's currently at a anti-litter committee meeting. So I don't know if you wish to wait for Mr. McKenzie, if you have specific questions. If you want to do the closed meeting items, get those out of the way, and then see if Mr. McKenzie's back or able to make it at that time. However you all wish to proceed forward.
I may have overlooked it in here, but is the original property listings that the county has in here that they give us the first time? That's been a few months ago.
I think they listed, they did drop in all of the properties that they considered.
Okay, just what they considered.
Right. Some of those did not. Now, some of that listing had like rights of way, listed. I think he mentions it, but they didn't consider those.
I'd like to see them get the list of all the property again.
I agree.
We can double check with
Because
him.
that,
just
you
to see
know,
if that-
the board may look at something a little different.
I think it was 70 something, wasn't it?
I know it was quite a few.
Yeah, 70 some parcels.
Quite a few.
It is.
It's a few pieces of waterfront there.
So to speak.
Yeah, so to speak, some of them could be water access. Good.
That's what we need to look at because I
Yeah,
think
we want to make sure that we're not going to get rid of anything that we could have water access, because everybody wants water access. Junior knows that. He's been trying to get kayak dock down there for years and finally got it down at Glebe Point. So,
No, it's something else I think we need to consider. I knew when my kids was growing up, I had to carry them to Westmoreland for tennis courts. I think we need a tennis court on our property on each end of the county. You know, if we find a good piece of land that we own.
we have some
That'd
property
be a good
that may
thing.
do that.
If we can't afford two, maybe we can put one in the central area of the county.
pickleball becoming a,
With pickleball.
Pickleball, that's right.
All that could be right there.
and I'm gonna throw this out there. I think the town of Warsaw may own this property. But if you go to Warsaw, take a left and go in past the jail and go back past the apartments. It's a bunch of walking trails back in the woods. And over the years, it's one gentleman has gone in there and found special places on trees. And he's carved Disney characters, all kinds of characters he's carved in there and painted them. And that has become a main attraction for people walk those trails and take photos of those images carved in those trees. And it's actually a website that you can go to and see some of it. And it's, this is something that he done on his own with their permission over time. But it draws people, it gives people something to do, and you would not believe the amount of families that are there walking their kids through those trails to see those images carved in those trees and painted, and that's family time. And that's hard to beat. That's some of the things we need here in this county is for these families to do. And that's why we need to take a hard look at some of this land. And if we get rid of some of it, we need to reinvest the money back into it. Just like Mr. Long said, this wouldn't be bad to have some tennis courts and stuff like that. People to get out and have something to do. We are lacking that and we need to focus on getting it done.
I think the long-term benefit of it would mean a lot to
You better
everybody.
believe it.
Right.
I think that's the thing. What we need to do.
And I don't know if y'all know this or not, but the library had a groundbreaking this week. And they're putting a park behind the library. It's called a pocket park. That's going in behind the library, and that's gonna have a small walking trail and all in it too. And I told them the other day, they don't realize how big a deal that is to have this in this county.
Right.
But that's just the beginning. We need to do our part and make sure that we add to it and have several places like that.
Any other discussion? He's, Kenzie's at an anti-litter.
He's at the anti-litter committee meeting right now. I'm not sure how long that,
What time did that start?
4:30.
All right, y'all wanna, go into closed meeting or you wanna take about a 15-minute recess? Wait,
Let's take a recess.
all right,
Right.
what the board wants to do? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna take about a 15-minute recess while we're waiting for Mr. McKenzie here. So don't go anywhere. Don't go. Yeah, I don't. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll call this meeting back to order again. Mr. McKenzie's gotten here. So, Mr. Tadlock, I'll let you pick up where you left off.
All right, no, I guess one of the questions for Mr. McKenzie. We uploaded the properties that the planning commission considered. Was that all of the properties that were county-owned properties?
No, sir. There was several, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 28 properties that are right-of-ways that we did not consider. And that those 28 properties, the reason that we did not consider it is because the highest and best use for those properties is what they're doing now, is transporting vehicles, because they're right-of-ways. So we didn't feel that that we would be selling roads that go to subdivision, things of that nature. And so we did not consider those 28. So y'all go ahead and get started?
Yeah.
Or do you have more questions? Okay.
Any more questions? No, go ahead and start when you're ready.
So the map that's on the screen now is in the first set, the summary packet that shows all of the properties that we did review with the 2025. And as you can see, they're distributed from up in the northwestern part of the county all the way down to Kilmarnock. It's not really the actual size. I created the outline to be extra thick, so the very small parcels would show up. So the smaller parcels are not as big as they look on that map. And then the second map is just the 5 properties that that the planning commission just wanted to recommend to the board of supervisors to investigate selling. And this one's the one between Lodge Road and Bells Cove Road. This is the poorhouse tract. This is the tract near Dameron Marsh, inland from the natural area preserve. And there is a property right as you come into the Indian Creek subdivision there. And then there's another smaller lot that's actually within the subdivision on Ute Road. To preface, the planning commission wanted to mention that we wanted to investigate selling because they were not sure if some of these properties might be producing income. And so that's why they didn't say they wanted to sell it. They wanted to investigate selling because if it's some of them, I think there may be some farmers that are leasing the property and have agricultural activities on it. And I know the poorhouse tract has an antenna on it, but I believe that you all let them lease that for no cost. So I have a summary list here that shows the acreage and the parcel numbers, and that's just so you can get the assessed value. And we will talk about these individual properties in depth later. But I just wanted to mention that in previous years, the Virginia Department of Conservation has stated that they're interested in purchasing land near their natural areas and to combat sea level rise. And so the property near Dameron's Marsh, if you all decide that that's something you all want to get rid of, they may possibly be interested in purchasing that. I'm not reached out to them because it's up to you all what you all want to do with it, of course. So if we could go to the summary list, the next sign, the PC recommended ones. We'll look at each individual site. I did 2 maps for them. The first map is an aerial photograph from 2021, one might be 2019. And then the second map is a topographic map to see what type of slopes we have. But let's go back to the original, aerial photograph first. And as you can see, it's wooded and it's also swampland, lowland. So I'm not sure how much of it or any of it is actually buildable. So you go on to the topographic map next. And as you can see, the topographic, when the lines are very close together, it's steep slopes. You can see the 50-foot contour here, and then it counts down 40 foot, 30 foot, 20 foot. So I'm not sure exactly, I'm kind of far away, but I think it's between like 10 and 10 foot, 5 and 10 foot up to about 20 feet.
Stuart,
Yes, sir.
it's been, what, a year and a half since we worked on this?
It was 2023,
Yeah.
in March and spring of 2023 when we.
Refreshing my memory, that piece of land, is there a right of way to it?
I've not investigated that, but I don't see anything there. There may be a private drive.
Right away.
Well, you need to look at the deed and see if there's any easements on one of these properties. And there is a road here, that's Bells Cove Road right there. And we can go back to the aerial if you want. And this is Lodge Creek as well. So I can't really see anything there, so, but we'd have to do some title research and look at the deed and see if there's a right of way to that property. As I mentioned, I'm not sure it's developable. But perhaps the neighboring landowners will be interested in purchasing that. That's just speculation on my part.
It's gravel on it.
I'm sorry.
It's good pit gravel on it.
Yes, sir. It was, that's in the property description, I believe. It was an old borrow pit, I believe.
Yep.
And that is 1.5 acres in total. And it's assessed at $5,000, so it's not a lot of money at all. And it's like Mr. Fisher said, it's landlocked. We'd have to see if there's any right of ways for that. And I don't see any residences near there. I mean, there's some along Lodge Landing, and there's one here, but looks like it's mainly just woods all around it. Any more questions on this parcel? Okay, if we can move to the next one, please. This is the Dodlet Road tract, the poorhouse tract. And of course, Camp Kitty is right here. I'm sorry, not Camp Kitty,
Kirkland Grove.
Kirkland Grove. Yes, I apologize. And of course, where the road is always flat. And of course, where the agriculture is here. And I'm not sure if we're getting income from a farmer for cultivating that land or not, but it is in forest, and I think the antenna is somewhere around here. Yeah, antenna's up here.
Yeah, it's on the same side as Kirkland Grove.
Right. So the antenna is so they can access it right there for the public radio station. And it's 140 acres, but when we go to the next map, the topographic map, you'll see that it drops off considerably. It's kind of hard to see the blue line, but the blue line is the outline here. And there is flat area around where there's open space where there are not many lines, and of course where the open area is. And so that's a 100-foot contour. That's the highest part of the land. The next thickest line is a 50-foot contour. And then you can see this is very steep land all on the edge here. And of course, a waterway here. So there's kind of a little in the center here, some flat land, but it's bounded on all sides except for this side by steep slopes and wetlands. But it's a substantial tract, and of course, it's the old poorhouse tract. You know, I don't know if there's any income. Like I mentioned, I talked with Mary, and she said that the FM radio station used to pay the county each year, and the county would donate it back to them. And finally, I think the board made a motion that they would not request any rental for that antenna. So I don't think that's generating any income. And I'm not sure what the best use of this property would be. You know, in the future, if the county wanted to hold on to it, perhaps a park, perhaps a nature area, something of that nature. Like I said, it is 140 acres. But the planning commission said that, you know, this is one of the ones that if y'all wanted to get rid of, that's one of the ones they would recommend. Any more questions on the poorhouse tract?
We know who farms that now or not?
No, sir. I would, Luttrell, would Mary know, or do you know?
I'm not sure if Monty Swan farms that. He farms a lot of the county property.
Has that ever been timbered?
That I don't know.
It's got some timber on it now,
Can we go back to the aerial?
some of it back next to the campground, that was timbered 50, 60 years or more ago. It's got pines on it now.
Yeah, it looks mostly coniferous, and there are some deciduous. Over here, you can see they're kind of grayer, and over where the swampland is, it's kind of gray. But you can see where there's gaps in it, so it does look like it has been reforested at some point.
Still some on it.
Well, what I'm getting at is timber gets a certain age, then it starts to get to the point where it's no good. So you're losing money. The county's losing money.
Good timber.
You could, if you had to, and it was mature enough, you could have someone cruise it and timber it before it goes bad.
You got pulpwood onto it for one thing. You got some timber.
It's just a suggestion.
Okay, would you like to move on? We'll go forward on the next, there you go. This is the Dameron Marsh parcel, and it's outlined here, goes through a tidal pond. This is the access road to Dameron Marsh, and they have a road and a parking area here. And then there's an additional road, and there's a canoe and kayak launch that the state has right there, right in front of that sand spit. This is I believe this is all part of the Dameron Marsh Natural Area Preserve. These are private tracks. I just want to let you be aware, I believe there's an emergency landing strip here for the spotter pilots. I'm not sure if I know it's mowed, bush hogged every once in a while, but I'm not sure you could take off. I'm sure you could probably land on it. I'm not sure you could take off from it, but that's something to take in consideration. The depth of the water here is 1 foot to 2 foot. You'd have to go out past here to get to 3 foot. So it's really not appropriate for public access because it's just very shallow water. It's also very swampy and kind of wetland in the spring. Of course, the mosquitoes are pretty bad there.
The mosquitoes are so big, they got ticks on them.
And so that is why the planning commission thought about selling it. And I did mention to them that Department of Conservation and Recreation had mentioned that they're looking for upland to acquire next to their existing holdings. This is 17.51 acres. And so the planning commission, I don't think there's any revenue being generated from that parcel. But it is next to a state natural area preserve. So they figured that maybe the state would like to buy it. It's assessed at $272,600, but I'm not sure that's what the state would pay. And I go to the topographic map. It's flat. And you can see the contours, bathymetric contours, and there's I think two fathoms, I believe. So it's basically saying sandy bottom out to 300 feet from the property. It's sheltered because of the curve of Dameron Marsh, but it's kayak depth at best. And since there's already an access point here, it wouldn't make sense for the county to invest in creating a water access point there since the state already maintains one so close to it.
We just figured it'd be worth more to them than it is to us at the planning commission.
Is there any benefit, is there any reason why we would, if we chose to sell the property, why we would sell it to the state versus?
No, sir, I just want to know that's an opportunity. Well, I have not investigated it. They may not want to do that, but and maybe the next door neighbor would like to buy it. I'm just not sure.
It's
But
very, you probably got less than 2 feet above sea level. I don't know.
Yeah, this right here is a supplemental elevation contour. It's 5 foot. It's a dashed line, so it's everything on this slide is less than 5 foot until you get to this point here. So it is lowland.
It's not big enough there's no way you could put a dock there to get decent water. You'd have to go 400 or 500 feet. That puts it down for anybody residential wise.
I don't think that's accurate. I crab in there all the time. Go back to the aerial view. In the upper left corner there, if you were to come off, and I don't know how far that is, maybe it would be a long dock, but it wouldn't be as where the two dark streaks are above the left corner there. There is decent water there. I crab right there. Yeah.
But I don't think there's any way in the world you'd ever get it to perk. Just so low, so marshy. And that's why I figured residential wise was out.
But it's assessed at $276,000. I wouldn't think it'd be assessed for that much if it didn't have some value as a residential piece of property.
I can't see it.
I did not
People
check,
more than I
the
do,
flood-
but I can't see it.
I did not check if it was in the floodplain, but I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't. And if that's something you all like for me to map, I'll be glad to do that.
Not over, what is it, about 2 foot above sea level, 2.5?
5 foot, some places farther inshore.
Right.
Is the most.
Well, I guess you could build on that, but you'd have to,
It'll be underwater during a hurricane.
you'd have to put it up on stilts.
The majority of it will be underwater during a hurricane.
And you'd have to have a special septic system. I guess it could always be built on.
Yeah, from what I understand,
You got enough money.
you can get a permit from DEQ. It's in an NPDES permit, it's the same type you get for a sewage treatment plant. Because in these wetland situations where the groundwater is intercepting the surface of the land, it's considered discharging into surface waters. So you most definitely have to have a higher level of treatment than a regular septic system, but you can get a permit to discharge into wetlands. It'll cost, and you have to have an engineered system, but it's possible.
And you talking about the dock chip going out on the left-hand corner there? You can't, where it was, yeah, right in there.
Yes.
You can't go too far to that corner because you'll be infringing on the other man's riparian rights.
Yeah.
You gotta go.
Yes, you
Back
gotta
to
go
that
straight,
property
you gotta
line.
follow the property line. At the planning commission, we just figured it would probably be worth more to just put it on, if you decide to sell it, you put it on the market and see. But we just figured the Dameron's Marsh natural area would be more interested into it. They could buy it and put it in with their program that they've got now. They don't have to do anything. Individual buys it, he's gonna spend, what, 200 some thousand, you said? And then spend another 150,000 getting it ready to live on.
And then pay for flood insurance.
But if that's something somebody wanted to do, they ought to be given that opportunity.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We didn't say only that. We just said, we anticipated they would probably be your best bet. Like I said, once you put it on the market, it's up for grabs.
I never knew
You
that.
you probably don't remember it. You may not have been born then. But at one time, they wanted to put a nuclear power plant there.
No, I did not know that.
That was
I never knew that was an
in
emergency.
1961. Wanted to build when they built it, Surrey, that's where they wanted to put it. It's on Dameron's Marsh. That was a big to do.
Never knew that was an emergency landing strip either.
No, Carl Rutledge put that in there. He lived the next lot over. He's dead and gone. I don't know who's bush hogged, but. Yes, sir. They wanted to put a nuclear power plant on the Dameron's Marsh.
Okay, would you like to move on?
Stuart,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
going to interrupt you, just a point of clarification, back on the Kirkland Grove in that area. That specific site is farmed by Philippine. The site further down Dotlet Road is the site that co-owned between the three localities. That is farmed by Monty Swan, but that particular property is farmed by Philippine. I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay, this is the property on the left side when you come down Bluff Point Road on the left-hand side. As soon as you get to the golf course of Indian Creek, I think the maintenance shed's over here. It is 6.355 acres. It's assessed at $15,900. And if we go to the topographic map, you'll see it's flat as a pancake. There is an intermittent stream above here that follows that way. And I thought this was given to the county by Indian Creek, but I don't have any history of that for a sewage treatment plant. But I'm not sure if that's what it was given to county for or who gave it to the county. But it's flat land, and we didn't see any, the planning commission didn't see any use for the county. It's landlocked, it's wooded, it's lowland. It may be hard to perk there as well. And if we go back to the aerial. Yeah, it's pretty much wooded. I'm not sure what's going on here, whether that's marshland or maybe it's deciduous trees, or just sparsely, wooded there, but these are all, pine trees in here. And I'm not sure if Indian Creek would be interested in it, or I don't know what would be a good use for that land. As you can see, the rest of the land is in forest too. And
Land that surrounds it, is that owned by Indian Creek or somebody else?
I think it's somebody else, but I'm not sure, but I can check it. And, I don't know if you all know, but once you take, if it's in lowland and you take the trees out, which are essentially water pumps, if you deforest it or take, pop stumps and take it out, then it could even be wetter than it was with the trees on. Because they pump the groundwater up and it of course evaporates to the leaves. And, when you take the trees off, then that could cause it even to be more, saturated. And I mean, if you all like, I can do septic suitability on these parcels or whatever type of more information. I can use a GIS to see if we get a better idea what we could use those or how to market these properties. And if there are no more questions, we can go on to the small lot on Ute Road. It is 0.34 acres and is valued at $50,000. It's got residences, I believe, on this side. I put the 901 address out. Maybe they're not anybody there. Yeah, they're on the other side of the street. You know, I had thought about canoe kayak launch this when I first saw it, but I'm not sure that's going to be really popular with the people in Indian Creek.
How many acres is it again? Steve?
It's only a third of an acre, 0.34. So
How much
once,
water is in front of it?
I'm sorry.
How much water is in front of it?
Well, let's go to the next map.
Very, very little.
It's pretty shallow. It's the headwater cove. I don't, I think that's,
Marshy on both sides.
There's not much water up there. I know that.
yeah, I think that's the 5-foot contour here. So it's not very steep, but, it's definitely skinny water. You know, I mean, if the board wants to pursue water access and we can look into that, but the planning commission thought that would be an uphill battle being in an established subdivision. So maybe the neighbors would be interested in it or maybe not. I don't know. But it is waterfront and we do not have anything down that far in the county as far as access. Of course, powerboat access is more popular than canoe kayak launches, but
Tide goes down, you can walk across it. So it's worth more to the adjoining property owners than anybody else. Something like that, if you could sell it perhaps to an adjoining property owner, take that money and put it on water access someplace else that's really good.
What's the value of it?
it's assessed at $50,000.
It's only a third of an acre, so it's not very big.
No, sir.
It's not a conforming lot.
Yeah, make it build it.
Huh?
Yeah, make it build it.
If it's a water dependent, well, yeah, if you're one of residents, But if it's a water dependent activity, then there's exceptions to put, okay, a parking lot if we're going to do a kayak launch. But if you were to build a residence, yeah, that would be you'd have to encroach for sure. Because you need you need room for a well and septic and a house. And that's tight. On a third of an acre.
Indian Creek has a water system, don't
Thought they did.
they? They don't have a sewer system, but they have a water system.
Okay, apologize.
Some of those lots down there don't have water. They have their own wells down.
Probably if they're built after a certain date when they overran the main system.
Maybe we're doing something with it. Instead of just letting it sit there.
If you all would like to look at the additional properties that the planning commission did not recommend, we have those files if you would like to look at those tonight.
What about the one at Hampton Hall Bridge?
It's the first one on the next slide. A few years ago, when I was researching this, I know it's a historic landing. I moved to the Northern Neck right when they were replacing the bridge, and I thought that was a great place to leave part of the bridge and have a fishing pier there. I was working at the Planning District Commission at the time and contacted VDOT regarding that, and talked with Carter White, and he said that they had already signed the contract for the bridge replacement, and that part of the contract was to demolish the old bridge. So if they left part of the bridge, then they would actually be, the contractor would be getting free money. So they demolished the bridge, but the alignment used to go here and they moved it over here. And there was a remnant parcel that was given to the county, or I think bought from the county. These all are actually, parcel 1.1, one double circle one, lot one. The Commissioner of Revenue wants to keep them separate so that you can see the lineage and where the parcels came from, but for tax records, this is all one parcel. And I do not have the acreage in front of me right now, but I think it's 5.29 acres. Of course, there's marsh over here, the existing road, and it's hard packed, and it goes down to about right here. Unfortunately, trees have fallen over top of it, and so it's not really accessible. You can walk down it, but there's no way you get a vehicle down there. I'm not sure. Mr. Fisher, was it 2002 when the Planning Commission put forth a grant to Jesse Baldepont to try to get some money? Yeah, we put together a grant package to try to get some funding from Jesse Baldepont to make a canoe kayak launch. We'd envisioned a parking lot here and a small pier with a floating platform off here, and that was not funded at the time. But this is on my radar screen. As soon as the comprehensive plan is done, this is where I would like to steer the Planning Commission next. We still have $14,000 in the Chesapeake Bay Public Access Fund that the Planning District holds for us. And the only question is the dreaded turn lane.
That's what knocked it in the head. Almost $30,000 for a turnoff lane.
You know, it was
Way back then.
about 100 now.
About 100.
202 is a primary highway, so therefore VDOT would likely require a deceleration lane and maybe no left turn lane. So no left turn if you're come from Westmoreland. That was preliminary conversations I had almost a decade ago. But this is definitely a good candidate for a canoe kayak launch site. If we go to the next slide, it is shallow. And no bathymic contours here, but as you can see, this is a gravel pit sign, so there was some excavation there. I've personally been down the road, and it does go to the water, but like I said, there's just a bunch of trees over top of it. and the grass has grown up. There's kind of a hummock here where they moved earth from when they built the bridge. And the alignment of the bridge here is the old alignment. It's actually over here because you see that little cut right there where the property line is. The road actually goes through this side, but there's a bit of a hill here, and but that is on my radar for the next public access if that's what the planning commission would like to pursue. And we pass this one over because the best use of it is a water access point. So we do not think we want to sell that.
How much water depth's off that again?
5 feet maximum.
I took my boat up there a few years ago and it was maybe at high tide it's 5 feet, but more probably closer to 3.
It's got a channel through it. Got some boats on the other side of the bridge toward the Guardian's Mill side.
Yeah, I got a crab shedding station. I don't think they've used it for years, but it's a crab shedding station.
On the Westmoreland side.
Yep.
All there.
So when will you have a better idea whether or not you're gonna move forward on this?
Well, we're in the throes of the comprehensive plan, but it's something I'd like to do, but I'm just one person. I mean, if you would like to ask the planning commission to start working on that, and we'll try to fit in our schedule. It,
I think one of the biggest aspects of working on it is going to have a financial report. What's it going to cost them?
And that's what I'm getting at. We need to know. But it would be a huge benefit to have something there, but we gotta make sure we can afford to do it. And
Is there any way of getting around that turnoff lane? That's the killer.
that brings me to something that the planning commission, I forgot to mention in the summary at the beginning. The planning commission asked if the board would consider any proceeds from any land that they sell to be put into the water public water access fund.
That's exactly right.
Of course, that's up to your discretion, but they know that money is hard to come by these days. And if there were proceeds from a land sale, if we could put that toward water access, not necessarily this spot, but for the Northumberland County to increase or improve their water access, that is what they would ask the board to consider.
One of the main aspects of the comprehensive plan is to promote more and better waterfront access. That comes both from the state and the federal government, but we know it as well. We're blessed with waterfront. We need to take advantage of it when we can. Well, we've got almost 500 miles of shoreline in this county, and 98% of it's private owned.
And it's a
Where does
tourist
the public
draw.
go to get to it?
I'd like to make a motion that we ask the planning commission move forward with looking at that project at Hampton Hall.
Got a motion to have a second?
I'll second it.
Got a second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Give you a little bit more work to do.
I'm all about the water. As Mr. Fisher has said many times, there are a lot of people that can't afford waterfront land and they should have access to state waters just like anybody else. So,
Mr. McKenzie,
yes, sir.
have you been down Cherry Point Road? 100 acres down there for sale. It has a lot of beachfront.
No, I have not been down there.
And we're talking about waterfront. And we're talking about having things for public to do. That's a farm being sold. Got waterfront access. It's got a beach, white sandy beach. It also has enough flat land where you could go in and invest money to have the things that we're talking about.
I'll look into it.
Do you have any idea what the tax prices are right now?
No, I don't. I don't. It's all the way, if you go down the other side of the road, go past Northumberland Shores, Cherry Point's the next left.
Yep.
Go all the way to the end and it'll be on your right.
No, the farm you're talking about.
Miss Turner used to own it. I don't know who owns it now.
Regular basis farming that too, I think. It was at one time.
I don't know. But, you know, if we're looking at doing these things, we need to,
It's pretty decent water there too.
it is. Beautiful beach,
in fronts of Potomac or,
right in front of it.
okay.
The Colonel Tower. Beach, you could do boat ramp,
You know, the,
picnic area.
Picnic area, you could have the, tennis courts.
That's what I was getting ready to ask them.
They have a whole lot there on that spot.
you know, the physical address, is it 802?
I really don't, but it's not hard to find. It's the last farmhouse on the right as you go down. And the road goes to a dead end. Some cottages down there.
There was a Turner down.
It was a Miss Turner that
Miss
owned it.
Turner that was down there.
But
She used to make reefs and all that.
Yes. That's it.
Okay.
But, you know, if we don't have a vision on what direction we want to go in, then we're not gonna make a whole lot of progress.
Conservation easement.
That would be a good location for a lot of things that we want to do.
Would that be, Mr. McGinn, would that be a good place for a tennis court?
Oh, yeah.
If it's flat, yeah, I would think, if it was flat, it would be fine, but it might be a little windy.
Could you check and see, if it would be good, if we have, some on each end of the county that would be good for a tennis court?
Well, as we go through some of these properties, I think there's opportunity at, perhaps Shell Landing. But I mean, I don't know how much time y'all want to spend tonight on it. There's quite a few more properties to look at if y'all would like to, or we can, continue this at a later date, whatever y'all like to do.
That sounds good, cause you know, I don't wanna miss my meal. So I don't wanna be too late.
It's up to you all.
And I think we need to kind of absorb what we've gone over tonight too.
I kind of picked it up, that y'all want to probably cut it off now.
Right.
That's agreeable with the rest of the board. Kenzie, I think the majority of the board wants to cut it off right now.
Okay, so we'll continue where we're at.
Come back at another time.
Very well.
That moves Saturday morning, 6 o'clock.
Saturday morning, 6 o'clock.
I would prefer not, but whatever you all say.
I second.
Oh, you second for Saturday morning?
No,
All right, folks,
not to
we gotta
come
be here
back.
Saturday
You
morning.
right.
One thing we need to look at too, we're looking at property that we could potentially sell. You need to look at the timber that the county has. Also,
Yep.
I mean, you sell the property, you're giving away money too.
Right.
So we need to look at that a little broader, because, you know, if we got $300,000 or $400,000 timber, you
Can't sell it for land value. You need to include the timber,
understand that. But yeah,
but that's what we need to do, because then a lot of this property has fairly decent timber on it.
you know. the-
Forest tract down here, it's got timber, it's got a lot of pulpwood onto it. All right. Mr. McKenzie, I thank you for coming in.
Yes, sir. My pleasure. I like maps.
Right.
Maps are my thing.
But y'all think about this now. All these pieces of property that we've been over.
Could we get the list of all the properties again? We got them a few months ago, probably about a year ago now.
Yeah, I can send that to Luttrell. and he
Would you
can send
mind
it out to
sending that
everybody.
out
Yeah,
again?
I can send you the original sheets that Todd gave us that has all
That's,
the breakdown and all the rest of that stuff. And,
That'd be good.
okay.
Good if you can do that.
that's another reason why I'd kind of like meet again, because I like to have all the properties in front of us, because if something pops up, we can bring it up and talk about it. Good idea.
Yeah, that's good, that is.
I got a question over here. Come on.
Yeah, yes, I do. I know out of the county, it's talking about the timber that's being cut in the trees, that's Warsaw. Yeah, now where exactly, you said, about? I know where the jail is. You said it's behind that area?
It's apartments behind it. Can you pull it back up?
I don't see where you go into that, because I know you got the jail and you got the crab place down there in the pieces.
Yes, sir. Before you get to that stoplight where the bank's on the hill,
Yeah,
Richmond County court building's there, sheriff's office is there.
right,
You turn left, right there, where they've got the pond,
right.
and little park, turn left right there,
Oh,
and go all the way back there, and you see a group of apartments.
right,
and it's
on
a
the
little-
main side.
Yes, sir. And on the left, it's, these walking trails. It's the Tom Roads tree carving trail. And, I'm gonna get him to pull those pictures back up, his website back up. If you want. Just to show you what's back there. But that's some of the carvings and the paintings that he's done on those trees, and a lot of them are not holes. He's gone in and cleaned them out and carved different things in there. And it's a map on here, and it shows you the walking trails. It's nothing to go there on a Sunday, and it's 20, 25 people, 30 people there. And that's the trails.
It doesn't harm the trees.
No,
It
sir.
doesn't harm the trees.
No.
Check that out. I mean, I didn't know how.
A lot of people don't know about it, but it's a huge attraction, and it's a nice place to visit.
Cause I know they put that pond down there. It was, one time they was talking about making a dog trail, a dog park or something like that.
Yes, sir.
Well, okay, in the area, you know.
But it's on back behind that. If you go to the apartments back out, you'll find it. It'll be on your left.
Okay, thank you.
So it's open every day.
Yes, sir.
All right, any other questions?
No.
All right, anybody else got any other questions too while we're right here? All right. I'd like, what else we have on the agenda, sir?
The only other item I have is the closed meeting.
Closed meeting. You know, gentlemen, ready to convene in a closed meeting? If you are, I'll entertain the proper verbiage from Mr. Tadlock before we can get a motion.
You need a motion that the Northumberland County Board of Supervisors convene in closed meeting pursuant to Virginia Freedom of Information Act, Section 2.23711A1 for the discussion, consideration of personnel matters, and Section 2.23711A3 for the discussion or consideration of the potential acquisition of real property for a public purpose or of the potential disposition of publicly held real property where discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the board's bargaining position or negotiating strategy. Invited to attend the closed meeting as necessary are the county administrator and assistant county administrator because they are deemed necessary and their presence will reasonably aid the board in its consideration of the topics to be discussed pursuant to Virginia FOIA Section 2.23712F.
All right, gonna have a motion.
Motion made.
All right, have a second.
Second it.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now in a closed meeting. Thank you all for attending. You are certainly welcome to wait out in the outside and come back after we're done. You're not gonna wait.
Need a motion that the Northumberland Board of Supervisors return to public meeting and certify by roll call vote that only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by the Virginia Freedom of Information Act and as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered during the closed meeting.
Motion made.
Second. Aye.
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 I do not need anything at this time.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye.